missed when you didn't exist. I am Corbett, and I am 53.
And I'm Lucy, and I'm 1 year older than 23. What are we doing
Okay.
today, Dad?
We're talking about one of the funniest things there could be dead people.
Jeez.
Specifically, Weekend at Bernie's, the movie that I forcibly made you just watch. And you haven't had a chance to get to a support group, so I'm sorry. But we're going to record this anyway. So, for anybody who has never, ever, ever seen Weekend at Bernie's, let me summarize. I think it's pretty simple. Two accountants at a firm find out that somebody's laundering money or cooking the books, and they take it to their boss because they figure they're going to get up on the corporate chain, and the boss is of course the one who's actually cooking the books, but instead says, oh, it'd be great, you guys should come out to the Hamptons and we'll hang out at my house and it'll be great. And secretly he's planning to have them killed accidentally, in quotes, when he's not around. They go out to the Hamptons. Bernie has a heart attack and dies. And then they find out that the killer will not try to kill them as long as Bernie's around, so they have to keep his dead body in a semi-active way and make him look like he's alive the whole time. And it leads to comic gold.
I guess. Oh, that's a stretch.
It is a bit odd, especially since the star of the show, Bernie, who's played by Terry Kaiser. Kaiser, I want to say Terry Kaiser. He's been in a lot of stuff, and he is pretty funny at his job. But in this one, he is really funny by not saying anything and being a corpse. He's basically the tough guy through the very beginning, and then after he dies, which is pretty early on, he's just a corpse. There's a hitman who runs around in the background trying to get them killed and doesn't succeed very well.
Well, he actually succeeds 3 times, but he thinks that he fails. And for some reason, the mafia guy sends the same hitman 3 times. If I was hiring hitmen and they failed, I would hire a new one. I'm sorry. Why would you hire the same guy
Well,
three
that's just because of
times?
your tough guy attitude.
Oh my gosh.
So anyway, it's a comedy, wacky comedy. Now, ironically, I did not know at the time when I suggested this how much this indirectly influenced things that you do know about, that you didn't know about because you weren't around when this came out. This came out in '89.
Hmm.
Okay, first thing that came to mind, because I had forgotten it during in the television show Friends, which I know you know Friends because you
Yes,
talk about it all the time.
of course.
In the episode where they have a trivia contest about who is going to win the apartment.
Yes, of
They
course.
wind up betting the apartment. I think they start off with like $100 each or something, but Monica's wound up.
Well, no, they were trying to get rid of the chicken.
Yeah, schooling me on Friends.
Yeah,
Look
dude.
at you. The subject comes up of what is Rachel's favorite movie, which I think they say is Sophie's Choice.
Yes.
I can't remember which one it was. But then they said, "What is her actual favorite movie?" Which is,
Weekend at Bernie's, which
yeah,
is
because
crazy.
Joey is the one who says that. Weekend at Bernie's. Yeah. Another thing there that I didn't realize, I was wrong, by the way. You had asked me earlier before the show. It is Jonathan Silverman, which is one of the actors. Richard plays
Yes.
Richard in Weekend at Bernie's. Was he Joey's weird roommate? He was not, but he
Oh.
was in Friends.
As what?
He was the doctor who delivered Phoebe's baby.
What?
The one where the baby's delivered,
The
and he
Frasier
specifically
guy?
said, "No, it was the Frasier guy. He was the guy who came he's the guy who comes in and says something like, 'So how's this baby coming along?' 'Well, 9 months, you're doing great,'" or something like that. He's the one who makes the pass at Rachel at the time, and he also mentions his favorite movie is Weekend at Bernie's, which
What?
is kind of funny that he referenced a movie he was in as a character on another show.
Whoa, that's
So there's
crazy.
some interesting tie-ins for you.
I don't remember that character at all because I remember Phoebe's doctor. He was, well, I guess when he was delivering, he was always, or no, it was the fawns. He was like, the fawns. And they're like, oh my gosh, please get rid of the fawns. I can't. But I don't remember. I don't remember that.
Oh, it's the one oh, sorry, I'm sorry. It's not Phoebe's, it is Carol's. Sorry, looking that
Oh,
back up. Just as like, yeah, I think you're right, the
yes.
Fonz. Yeah, he was Carol's doctor. But Rachel was trying to hit on him at the same time, and Carol was not happy about that. So
Yes. Yes. Hmm.
sorry. But still interesting. Another, and there's so many little tidbits and pieces in the background that, like, oh, that's interesting to know. That's interesting to know. The other thing that was probably more interesting to me was it's a remake.
Of what?
It's a remake of an Indian movie, or a takeaway from an Indian movie that was made in 1983 called Let It Go, Mates.
Okay.
It was actually called the Jain what Janebhidoyaro, Jain Bidoyara. I want to say Yarrow. I'm probably saying it totally wrong,
I don't
but
know.
it translates to "Let It Go, Mates."
Okay.
And it was about these two photographers who accidentally get pictures of their boss murdering somebody, but they don't realize it's him.
Oh, okay.
So they show it to him, and then he tries to get them killed, and they wind up stealing, was it he dies, and they wind up stealing him in a coffin. So there's literally a whole gag where they're running around with a coffin. So way more morbid than dragging around the rag doll that is Bernie.
Uh-huh.
And I will say a lot of the comedy, the physical comedy, was all improvised too. I was reading through that. A lot of the Bernie comedy they would just kind of talk about or just try to play with, like stapling on his toupee.
Oh my
There's a
gosh,
scene
yeah.
where his toupee comes off and they're, oh my gosh, he's got a toupee. And they staple it back onto his head. They actually kind of, the three of them kind of came up with the improvisation of this like during a break. Like, oh let's do this. And then they just did it. So a
Wow.
lot of that was improvised and played off the cuff. Andrew McCarthy and Jonathan Silverman were the main characters that run around and do stuff. And Andrew McCarthy is probably best known for being part of the Brat Pack. He was part of that Robert Downey Jr., Molly Ringwald, Pretty in Pink, 16 Candles, St. Elmo's Fire group.
Mhm.
Jonathan Silverman was just in a bunch of stuff. Honestly, both of them are really prolific. They've been in lots of things as sort of these extra guys. I think Andrew McCarthy stood out to me just because I remember him from Mannequin just a few years before that. But it was a dumb show, but pretty fun to watch. As far as Weekend at Bernie's is concerned, it is a goof. I mean, it's totally a goof. The so many ridiculous scenes. They drag him on a boat and he falls out the back, and I think the stuntman reported that he had like 6 broken ribs from that.
Oh, gee.
Well, you could see the body flipping around. I was like, I thought it was a doll. So that's terrible. There was the cheap scene where the girl hooks up with Bernie
Mhm.
after he's dead.
Mhm.
It's pretty tactless in a lot of ways, but it was funny for the cheap laughs that 80s can only an 80s movie can give you those kind of goofball laughs. But it does tie back to a lot of things currently, but just because there's been so many shows that reference it, that point back to it and talk about it. So I guess, as per normal, now that we're in the future, Lucy, what did you think?
I wonder if I don't get the comedy because to me, cheap laughs feel more fun and comedic when it's in the form of Monty Python. And I feel like it would be such a disgrace to say that this is the same kind of comedy as Monty Python because it's like so close to being funny, but it somehow misses it and turns so macabre. Like it I don't know. I just remember watching it and finishing it and I was like, "Okay, I feel like there is no lesson that you can learn from this because they spend the entire weekend with a dead body, messing up the crime scene, so they will probably never figure out his killer, which
Mm.
means that there's still a crazy mafia guy out there who's literally only wanting to kill Bernie because he slept with his girlfriend. Which, why do you have, if someone cheats on you, why would you have beef with the person they cheat on you with? Have beef with your person that is cheating on you. That's just so wild to me. And then I've seen too many police shows and dramas or something because all I could think was you're messing with a dead body, contaminating the crime scene, you're just going to be blamed. And so my brain was just going crazy, and it was just like so gross. Maybe it's more like guy humor that I don't understand, but I just was, ugh.
Wow, I feel like I really tortured you with this one. I'm sorry.
It wasn't torture. It's just, it bugged me so much because Bernie was dead. And yet, all of these people that are supposed to quote unquote know him and talk to him and care about him don't even notice that he's dead. Just him existing is fine because they like still get the clout of being with him.
Bernie is basically a scary mafia guy, really. He's running an insurance scam, but he's more or less he's got ties with a lot of criminal organizations. And it really reminded me of Stalin's death, the Russian dictator
Yeah.
who basically collapsed and nobody checked on him for about 20 hours because nobody wanted to go be the one who got shot. And then once they found him face down in a puddle of his own urine in his bedroom, they called like all these heads of states, and it took them 2 days to decide should we call a doctor. So he died like 5 days later because so many people were afraid to get any kind of close and upfront reaction because they thought that he would kill them. So maybe Bernie's kind of in that same boat where like, nobody wants to spend too much time because he might just have you killed. Like these two dopes who have to run around with him the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, but it's just, he is such this approachable guy who just wants to party, and then they literally have the floating party at the house, and everyone's talking to him. There's the guys that come up and massage him. They literally give him a chiropractic massage, and
That's true.
they are like all over him. And then the girl has sex with him. What? How do you not notice anything? And Larry explains it in the best way of like, wow, like if I lay down, I get in trouble. But Bernie is untouchable for some reason. It doesn't make any sense.
I don't know what to tell you. It's a comedy.
Not a good one
It's
though.
funny to me.
Ugh. It's not torturous, but it's just the idea that you could live, quote unquote, live with being dead is so wild to me. Like, that would ruin my life if people did not notice I was dead. They're like, ah, she's fine. Ah, she's having one of her days. That seems like a super big offense to me. And it's
I don't
just,
well, if it makes it any better, it probably won't make it any better, but there was a sequel.
and they
That
dig
was
up his body. What? Oh my
technically, they
god.
don't. It's just after the events, and they find out that there's money hidden, and they have to use his body to find out where it is by getting a Jamaican voodoo prince or witch doctor or something. Basically, he's sort of a zombie for parts of it. He actually moves.
Oh my
He moves whenever
god.
there's like the Jamaican drums. I can't remember what they're called. The kettle drums or no, they're the calypso drums, right? Is that what they're called? The ones that have the tin top that's all beaten in and
I think it is a kettle drum. No,
whenever he hears the music, his body moves. It is sort of this goofy, funny
it is a calypso drum, by the way. But
okay. but it's a goofy, funny comedy of him walking around weird and doing it's basically them doing the same gags again.
Oh my
Like, "Look,
gosh.
he's dead, and we gotta find the money." I think that's part of the real comedy, the yeah, macabre comedy, but the comedy in the first one is that they have to make it look like he's alive, otherwise they're gonna get killed. That's the gist of it. Because if he's dead, then the hitman can go kill them at any point.
But they wouldn't have had to worry about that if they went and told the cops in the first place.
Yeah, that's very true.
No one's first thought should be, "Oh, I see a dead body. Let's hang out with it. Let's play with it for a while." What? Sociopath, psychopath behavior.
Yeah, but it's funny.
Oh my gosh.
It's ridiculous funny, but it's funny.
No.
I'm not endorsing it and saying it's the best movie ever. Unlike a lot of the other movies I've made you watch, this one isn't one of those. This is more of one of those, like, iconic things that you kinda need to know about because of the references that come later. It is sort of funny that Rachel's secret favorite movie is that.
Yeah, but I knew the premise of Weekend at Bernie's was they spend the whole weekend with a dead guy trying to make him look alive. I didn't need to
Right.
watch the movie to know all of that. Now I'm just weirded
Yeah.
out.
Well, but, like, the Weekend at Barney's jokes from, How I Met Your Mother, I know
Yeah.
you it was, like, the reference to it. It's like, "Oh, now I kinda get it."
Oh my
It was
gosh.
just one of those cult following movies where it was, like, kinda weird, but unique for what it was.
I guess. It just, I've seen too many crime shows. In my mind, I'm like, why would you ruin all of the evidence? The evidence is gone. The mafia guy's on the loose.
Mm,
So silly. And then the guy still kills him like 3 times. And it's like,
yeah.
wait, he's still alive. Again, sending the same guy for your hitman 3 times is the worst move in mafia history. I don't even
Mm.
understand.
It's funny. No, I have to defend it a little just because it's one of those iconic movies. It's a thing of its time. How about that? Nope, not gonna accept it. It's no Shakespeare.
It's no Shakespeare. What? Yep, all the movies that came out in the 1400s totally match the same. Ugh, ridiculous.
What, you don't remember Shakespeare the original Shakespearean play, Weekend at Bernard's?
Uh-huh. Sure. I just feel like there are so many better movies to watch. Like, why would you? Why? Why?
Ah,
Yeah, and now you've traumatized me with the most wild movie in existence.
most wild? Wow.
It's just a weird concept that so many people like it, and the whole premise is I'm gonna play with a dead body for the weekend.
That's, yeah, that is what happened.
Like, it's not just, oh, they don't know about it until a day or two later. They literally know about it from the beginning and decide to just roll with it for the whole time. If they learned about it like halfway through, maybe, then I feel like it would have had some more comedic flair because then it was like, what? We didn't know that was happening.
Mhm.
But you literally know about it from the
Well,
beginning.
I did, reading through the notes on, like, background things, originally, the movie was supposed to be a vehicle for Corey Feldman and Corey Haim. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
No.
Corey Feldman was, Mouth in, Goonies.
Okay.
You've seen Goonies, right? I know you've
Yes.
seen Goonies.
Yes.
He was the smarty mouth guy. Anyway, he was still a young, like, 20 something, and Corey Feldman and him did a lot of, like, buddy teen shows about that time.
Mhm.
And it was originally supposed to be for the 2 of them, but they thought that they would be too young to be accepted as, like, interns, so
Yeah.
they went with a slightly older set of people. So if it were like 20 somethings, would you have accepted that better?
Well, they seemed like 20-somethings to me. They seemed like they
Yeah.
were, at the age where
No,
you
like
you finish
mid
college.
20s.
Yeah, like 24, 25. That's what I guessed that they were doing. Were they
Mhm.
supposed to be older? Because that makes it worse.
No, no, they were supposed to be younger.
That
Corey Feldman and Corey Haim were, like, in their early, like they always portrayed, like, high schoolers, but they were basically, like, 22 or 23.
See, I feel like younger would have also made it worse. The beginning, I thought was fine. Like they're on the roof. New York is hot in the summer. I actually had a question on like when AC was invented because I feel like AC seems like a newer thing.
It was pretty much common by the '50s, so it wasn't, like,
Oh,
uncommon, especially in those big buildings.
so you were alive when AC existed.
Yes, I was alive when AC existed, and so were you. It was, I think, invented back in the 1800s, like the end of the
Oh,
turn of the century, the industrial age, because they had to make an AC unit for refrigeration, which was essentially what led to
mm,
air
yeah,
conditioning.
no, that makes
Well,
sense.
central air and heating, basically, all those things kind of came into play.
Mm,
And with all the massive buildings that were being built, you had to have a way to circulate air.
mm.
Otherwise, people would have died from heat in the summer times.
Yeah, I don't know. I was like, cool, air
You might as well
conditioning.
just ask, when did rocks get invented?
I
Come on.
don't know. I was like, whoa, air conditioning? That seems like a really modern thing. That's crazy. And then I was thinking about how going up to the Hamptons is such a regular New York movie, New York show
That's
trope.
true.
Like, you have to go up to the Hamptons for the summer. You have to
Mhm,
go up. Or, like, you would only go up for the weekend because it was the place to go to all the parties,
mhm.
which we do see in this movie.
There are parties.
Party
Uh,
hardy.
well, I'm sorry if you feel abused, but I'm glad you at least got to see it. So now you have a direct opinion.
I don't feel abused. I just feel like it's
Betrayed, tricked, fooled.
I just feel like it's so not funny and dumb. So I don't know how people enjoy it, but I guess if you've got a cult following for that, I am happy to be on the hate Weekend at Bernie's train.
Wow.
Yep,
Hate. Hate is strong.
hate is strong.
Anyway, for what you missed when you didn't exist, this has been Weekend at Bernie's.
Don't play with dead bodies. It's
Don't play with
gross.
that is not the moral. I don't know. Sure. Okay.
What else would
Until
it
next
be?
time.